Yeah, I convinced my company to buy me a Mac for my work computer. And then I still use my Windows gaming PC as my work computer most of the time anyway. Because it connects to more monitors with one cable without fuss.
You gotta get the Kingston dock. Do four.
I would rather not.
Depending on what version it should be at, you can do it.
It's not a question of quantity. It's right now I have two 4K Thunderbolt monitors. So
Yep.
I can connect with a single cord. I have a third 1080p, like 10-year-old monitor that I use for screen sharing.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to plug in a second cord. And I don't want to have to buy a dock.
So I use the two studio displays.
Yeah, I
USB-C.
functionally have the same thing.
I have those plugged into this Kingston dock that I got.
I just don't want to buy it.
And
I'm
just make IT buy it for you.
yeah. No, I just don't know. I just don't want more stuff on my desk. We can geek out on it.
They're brand new, actually. I found one that works really well finally. Because that's always a problem. We just need to make sure that we set a tickler for the appointments in April.
Yeah.
We got tree warden, inspector of lumber, fence viewer.
What does a fence viewer do? I've asked that before, and I totally forget. What?
Keep property on. When the old meets and bounds system was put in place, a lot of times it was a tree and rock wall and this and that and the other thing. Sometimes, like over at the park, that no longer exists, but it's in the description of the deed. So you have to go and, as fence viewers, you go and resolve any disputes.
Yeah.
Not that there's a dispute over there, but that's an example.
Okay.
Independent
Yeah,
party.
yeah.
I've been the inspector of lumber for quite a while, so if you want to take that.
What inspector of lumber and where coal?
Yes,
Inspector of lumber inspect.
lumber and coal, if there's a discrepancy on the quantity,
Oh,
like.
whenever like somebody
of
orders a cord of
wood.
wood and says, this is not a cord. Oh, boy.
Yes.
Recording in progress.
It is 7 o'clock and I'll call the water board meeting to order. We have the operator here with us and there's a repair project she wants to discuss with us. So I'm going to turn the floor right over to you.
Yep, so this is a part of the grant work that we had talked about, and basically the biggest project of the grant that we had received was removing the generator and getting an outdoor one. So
This is in the pump house.
in the pump house, the well house on South Road. So I have gotten two quotes. My choice would be Brookfield. Because it's a little bit cheaper. They're able to start and complete spring/summer, whereas Tyler Electric was not able to and probably thought it was going to be a struggle to try to get it buttoned up and completed by fall. The quote up above is also a little cheaper for Brookfield, included my add-ons that I had wanted, that I had talked about having a cellular view option, extended warranties, having a backup generator while we're switching everything over so the pump can maintain running. They currently already service our generator and I haven't had any problems with them. And every time I call or email them, they're very responsive and always get back to me.
Where are they at?
They're out of Northfield.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I appreciate Tyler Electric providing us a quote. I know he's extremely busy.
Yes, yes.
I just think, and with the scope, so it's not the whole entire project. So if I'm able to do the generator, I can also complete my other projects by the fall time.
Right.
With the heat pump and everything else I'm looking to do with the grant. So I think it would also just be best with Brookfield as well. The pricing is not crazy difference.
It's not one.
Do we have to, do we have to swap out the propane tank?
Yep, so that'll be Suburban. That's separate from either people.
Okay.
Yeah, so that'll have to be done and then we'll have to revert the power, which
And are we under contract with Suburban?
I don't know if we're under
Okay.
I don't know if
contract.
we're in the contract, I know
We
they
may
just
want to just,
so moved.
The tank doesn't say Suburban on, it, I don't believe, so maybe it's.
You may
their own
actually
thing.
own it.
six,
Yeah.
one, half dozen the other.
Yeah.
We may want to look into that and just see if we RFP out for propane.
Sure.
We can find
You
that.
know, just to see.
I have three tanks at my house and one of them we own and the other two we don't, so.
Yeah.
The Suburban services them.
I make a motion to accept the quote from Brookfield Service for $38,483 to replace the generator in the South Road pump house.
Second their motion.
Motion made by Matt and seconded by Jamie to approve the contract award to Brookfield Service of Northfield and the total amount of $38,483. All those in favor signify by saying
All right.
aye. Any opposed? One absent. Right.
And I did check, we do have sufficient funds to pay for out of pocket, because we do have, in May, have to pay for our portion of repaying for the loan, yes.
Yes.
Just to follow on that, we were due to have transfers of ARPA funds that were dedicated to covering part of our hydrology, part of the wastewater, and then all of the South Road project, which is a big chunk. Christian has transferred those ARPA funds into the water department checking account. And those are free and clear water department funds because the water department paid for those projects up front. So the ARPA money is backfilling.
Yep.
So, don't get excited, but we do actually have enough money to pay for
Sure.
the loan payment in June.
Good, yes. And then I'll submit a form and then they'll reimburse us. I don't know how long that takes. It sounds like.
For
it's
the
kind of a-
generator
Yeah,
project, yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, you have working capital.
Yeah.
you know, so.
So,
Very good.
okay, thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn the water commissioners meeting.
Is there motion made by Matt to adjourn and Jamie seconded? We're adjourned for the water department meeting. And I will call the select board meeting to order.
Thanks,
Nice to meet
John. Yeah,
Is
you too.
7. So, under the agenda, we need to add, is it just one liquor license?
Just one liquor license.
We need to add a liquor license to the agenda for verbal approval.
I'll make a motion to add the license to the agenda.
Second.
Motion made by Matt, seconded by Jamie to add a liquor license to the agenda for the meeting. All those in favor, signify by saying
Aye.
aye.
And also, Dan, it occurs to me, I didn't put approval of the minutes. I did send the minutes, but I didn't put approval of the
I
minutes.
was wondering where that was.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to add approval of the previous meeting minutes to the agenda.
Second.
Motion is made by Matt and seconded by Sebastian to add the minutes of the previous meeting to the agenda. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I think that we may need a brief executive session because I have a personal question.
And that's on there. I think we got a couple
Yes.
personnel
Yeah.
items, so.
Okay, so we have those on, we're opening up public comments. Or anybody not
That was
already
in
on
addition
the
to
agenda.
your agenda.
Okay. So if you're here for that, now's your time. Perfect time.
So am I being added to the agenda or do you want me to?
No,
You're not on the
I-
agenda because it wasn't warned, but you can speak at public comments, and then if we need to take action on it, we would add it to the next meeting's agenda.
Okay, all right. I'm Mary Ann Holmes, a resident of Arlington. I'm here to represent the Energy Committee of Jim Nash.
Okay.
And as members of the Energy Committee, we were very interested in the MERP grant and this expenditure of that. We received a copy of the Centerline Architects assessment of the town hall and garages. And we see that it recommends after a couple of windows are replaced, that there be a blower test and insulation added to this building. And in the RFP, we don't see that, and so we're wondering,
I think because we only RFP'd out the windows
Okay.
at this time. So that would be a separate, that wouldn't be the same contractor that would do that. So it'd have to be a separate request for proposal to come in.
and so it is coming.
One of the things about this grant is that there are very strict time limits in terms of, and so I was just very concerned in terms of my managerial capacity that we go ahead and bid out the most straightforward tasks involved in this and get that underway. And then I might be able to go out to bid for the insulation parts as well. I'm working with the state to see if they can extend the deadlines because it's, you know, they want us to do the stuff, but the deadlines are so tight. You know, I might not be able to get it done. So that's where we are because I just was not confident in our ability to do the whole thing at once. And the other thing is that if you haven't done the windows and doors, there's no point in putting insulation in the building. So we got to do the windows and doors, and then we can circle back.
And the windows have the longest lead time. Insulation doesn't have much of lead time. So other than finding a contractor, but to Cynthia's point, there's a specific cadence in which you need to do it. So we couldn't do an insulation and blower test to Cynthia's point before you do the windows and the doors because it
Oh,
wouldn't
that's
be
not what they
accurate.
said in the center line report, so. I mean, the insulation could be done, and I don't even know if the second blower test is absolutely necessary. I mean, you know, you need insulation, so.
Right. Well, but I mean, the architect is a professional and they have recommended that we have the blower test done. And that would tell us too, where they need to, potentially add weather sealing or additional, gap filling, which would be part of an insulation contractor to come in and do that work under the normal package.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, now we're at the part of the meeting, once a year we reorganize the board and, we sign or elect various officers, chair, vice chair, clerk, and then various department liaisons. Just so you are aware of what we're gonna do. But we do that every year because not everybody's elected every year, but new people are always. So there's usually 2 seats, 1 to 2 seats available every year somewhere. So,
So
Yes.
should we wait until we're full board? Because Glenn's not on.
Glenn
yes.
is not joining this evening because
Yeah, I
he's
know.
got
He's got
kids
family
and
issues.
stuff, but I don't think we can put it off.
We need to elect the chair, vice chair, clerk. What am I missing?
Chair, vice chair, clerk, that's it.
Yeah, I think that's the
And
main.
then the liaisons, and I did talk to Glenn, I have a proposal for liaisons. Glenn and I kind of talked about it on the phone before I came over here, so. Because he knew we couldn't make it.
Okay, so, I'm willing to take the chairmanship for one year. If anybody wants to, we're welcome to it.
I'm also willing to take chair,
Vice chair, chair.
chair, or vice chair, I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
So I just need a motion for chair first.
I don't know either of you well enough to judge me call there.
It's all you, Jamie.
Whoever is not is taking vice chair.
Yes,
Probably, yes.
So I'll give Dan one more round of chair. I would make
I
a motion
appreciate
to, have Dan be the chair of the board.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Jamie and seconded by Matt to have myself be the chair. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I would also make a motion for Matt to be vice chair for the here.
I'll second that.
Okay. Jamie made the motion to have Matt be vice chair and Sebastian seconded it. All those in favor signify by saying aye. statutory dinosaur.
But it's required.
It's required by statute, but it's in case there's nobody recording the meeting, we take the minutes. But it's
Well,
never.
Glenn's not here,
Yeah.
so.
And he's-
Hey,
That's what happens at
That's
the
what happens when you don't show up
firehouse.
to a meeting.
What happens at the firehouse?
So if you want to nominate him,
How do you feel
I'm
about
sure
that,
there's
Glenn?
not a.
I already take the minutes for the planning commission, so I'd rather not.
Okay, I'll make a motion to appoint Glenn Sherman as clerk of the board.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's made by Matt to appoint Glenn as the board clerk of the board, and Jamie seconded it. All those in favor signify by saying
Aye.
aye. That'll teach him.
It'll be a good experience for Glenn.
Always show up to the reorg.
I've been known to fly back for a meeting like that specifically, and then get on a plane the next day and go back to where I was.
Interestingly enough, I've been on the board for many moons, and never have we ever used the clerk. It almost for
We rarely, sometimes like at the end of a
It's not a
meeting or
position.
something, but it's
We have to
just,
do it to satisfy the state,
Sure.
but.
Yeah, but when Janet doesn't take minutes, I take minutes.
yeah.
You know,
So the town administrator,
Yeah.
it's an antiquated position.
Well, and in today's world,
But-
nobody really needs to take minutes, they're automated.
And I do take minutes.
Exactly.
All right, so did we vote on that? All those in
We did.
favor?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Signed, sealed, delivered.
okay, so you put liaisons with fire,
So-
highway, park.
We've got highway, fire department, park, water department, and administration. So I'm just gonna propose and open for discussion 100%. And I thought about this, and Glenn and I chatted a little bit on the phone this afternoon. Because I wanted to get his take on what he felt comfortable with as well. And I took into account everyone's skills and expertise and where we've sat, and maybe mix it up just a little bit based on how departments are running and a number of other factors. So my proposal for liaisons would be on highway, it would be Glenn and myself. Fire department, myself and Jamie. Park, Glenn and Colin. Water,
Sebastian.
Sebastian, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I had you written down
Yeah,
as
no,
Colin
it's
because
fine.
I did this before I talked to you
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
phone. Water would be Jamie and Dan. And administration would be Sebastian and Dan.
Okay.
Totally open for discussion. It's just kind of where I looked at skill set and that thought came to mind.
I think I would like to stay on this highway, and my only couple of things. I think you do an excellent job at fire. And so I definitely want you there. You said me and Sebastian for admin?
Yeah. If you want to stay on highway, then I could stay on water.
I think that's a better idea, and my main reason for thinking that is don't put your snow shovels away. This ain't over. And rather than switch horses in midstream, I'd like to kind of stick this one out through the winter.
Okay.
And that's my only input there, but, water, admin, you might be better at admin than me. But I've worked with everybody in the building, literally.
Do you want
I
to
have no
do
problem doing it.
water and I'll do admin?
That's fine. I know Josh well and see him out all the time.
Okay.
If I do highway and admin, or highway and water, then you can do fire and park,
Admin.
Fire and water.
fire and water.
You
Okay.
have Glenn and Colin at the park. Sebastian, sorry. I need to write it down differently on
It's all
my
right.
thing.
Figure we'll get it out of our system.
And I think Lynn also with highway.
Yeah. And so I'll take admin, which actually, if we get a new town administrator, that would probably
Well,
be
that's the
helpful,
other
plus
thing
the
I'm thinking in the back of my
recruitment. Yeah,
mind. You're better in that realm, so admin might be really important to have you in there.
Yeah.
So I'm on longer.
and Sebastian's background as well, from a hiring manager
sure.
and everything, I
You
think.
know, I realize I'm the new guy, so my input is minimal, but
No,
if I
Not at all.
got to
Not
pick,
anymore.
I would
No.
pick admin and
You have the
parks.
same
So
powers.
So who did you have on water as well? Myself and who else?
yourself and Dan.
And Dan?
So, okay, now it's gotten confusing, so let's circle back.
Let's divide these.
All right,
back.
so our revised list, highway, Glenn and Dan.
Yep.
Fire department, Matt and Jamie.
Okay.
Park, Glenn and Sebastian. Water, Jamie and Dan. And administration, Matt and Sebastian.
Motion to approve.
Yeah, let's do that as a slate,
it's like,
All right,
so
so
we'll just make.
do you want me to
motion.
do?
Just read that off one more time.
I'll read it one more time. So I'll make a motion to appoint the following liaisons for 2026 election year. Does that sound? Highway Department, Glenn and Dan. Fire Department, Matt and Jamie. Park, Glenn and Sebastian. Water, Jamie and Dan. And administration, Matt and Sebastian.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Jamie and seconded by Sebastian to approve the slate of officers as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Okay.
For the minutes,
You have minutes on
They
it.
are, yeah, I didn't look far enough.
We didn't look far enough.
I
I
didn't,
don't
it was
even know
below
when I'm
the
doing
line
it
when I
right,
was
yeah.
scrolling down. You're good.
Ridiculous.
It's all right. Well, we made sure it was in there.
Yeah, put
Yes.
it in there twice, yeah.
Okay, minutes of, oh no, sorry, highway. Do we have any updates?
I did talk to Mark, they are hauling, gravel now. They couldn't haul gravel when it was so cold, even though they needed it,
Right.
because the gravel would have frozen in the box, because the boxes aren't heated, which I did not even ever think about. So they were hauling gravel and something was wrong with some piece of equipment. I can't go beyond
I
that.
talked with him and I know what that is, the small truck.
Okay,
It looks super cold and driven down frost. And the way the pavement is now, there's lots of tank
Yeah.
traps and bumps and stuff. And he thinks what happened is the heavy plow in the front broke a couple of leaf springs in the front of that truck. So they can't really do anything with it till I fix that, or they're gonna totally destroy
Is
it.
Yeah.
that truck one?
Not sure.
It's the CV.
It's a smaller.
Yeah.
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 Truck one.
So at any rate, he did mention to me that I asked him about, he knows the pavement, they were out patching a couple of bad spots this morning. The dirt roads, knock on wood, haven't broken up terrible, but we can't assume that they're not going to, so he hired somebody to come in with a bigger trailer of gravel, so that we're ready for that. So he was gonna do that just for one day, have them haul. And it's probably 2 or 3 of
That'll
our
be the
trucks.
Wallingford gravel.
Yes.
I was gonna say, because they made a trip to Wallingford today and 3 trips to Bennington.
Yep.
Looks like.
So anyway, other than that one repair, which makes us down the truck, which for now is okay.
Yep.
The
Actually,
weather is
maybe-
gonna turn cold again, but it just depends on how the thaw occurs. Like tongue in cheek say, don't put your shovels away, because I've seen 3-foot storms in March
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
and
April.
early April.
Yeah.
Well, and we're gonna get sleet
And we're
and
supposed to
freezing
get
rain here in the
colder.
next day or so. And it looks like,
If it thaws slow and it's cold and thaws,
Yeah.
gets cold, we might dodge a bullet, but I'm not gonna count on it.
I take that back. So truck 2 and truck 3 both made a trip to Wallingford today and 2 trips to Daly's. Yeah, or whatever they call themselves now.
And, Mark has assembled the backup plow drivers. there's a question of getting them their drug tests and things, and so Janet's been working with him to try to get that organized, because it would be good to have that all.
And I
done
need
before.
their names so I can assign them key fobs.
Okay, that's a Janet, that's,
Yeah.
I'll get,
So a little more on the CV.
Yep.
They placed about 15 calls today trying to find those front springs. They are non-existent. And the truck that he was looking at G-Stones, when he sent the info up on the CV, they said, that is a not very desirable truck,
Right.
so they would not even think about taking it in. So
Isn't that, what year, isn't that, that isn't a very old truck?
No, it's not.
so what do we have, a big doorstop now?
Yep, Sunderland has one.
Boat anchor.
There's a lot of towns around that got
It's
them.
in
and they're
2021.
Nothing but problems.
Huh.
These trucks have been nothing but problems. Sunderland hasn't hardly been able to use theirs all winter. Yeah, there's a lot of them around and they're not performing well.
Yeah, because that's a 2021.
Yeah, Mark tells me about that.
Wow, okay, it is what it is.
So
Okay.
I don't have anything else. I just.
That's fine.
I was
I
talking
just
with him.
talked with him briefly
Yeah.
about the roads and stuff.
He
said I asked him specifically about the gravel, because I know.
Yeah, no, they fixed some spots on, I think, Burwell or Wilcox, one or the other.
Yeah.
Um,
And somewhere else.
and right now, the worst road is Old Depot Road.
That's
Yeah.
where he was
Breaking up the
going.
worst.
It's
Oh,
the
that-
gravel.
That's what he
It's
needs
kind of
the heavy
low.
gravel for.
There's
Yeah.
a spot on Red Mountain and it's just past the pavement, which makes sense because it's the salt coming off the
Yeah.
pavement.
Breaking
That's
it
got
up.
a car eater
Yep.
started
Yeah,
on it.
I will let him know that in the morning.
I mean, it's not bad because there's
Doesn't-
enough room to move around, but yeah.
If you, stay out of the.
Well, I will stay out of
Stay
it.
out of the ruts and stay out of the.
I'm gonna stay out of it with mine. I know that for sure, but
So kind of between highway and fire department, our next one, I'll bring up one other thing. There was a large tree that came down across 313 yesterday. Right down by the pull off,
Okay.
blocked the road for approximately 2 hours before state highway could
State.
get there.
He's reaching.
Brian was out, a bunch of the fire members. They made the decision not to send traffic down River Road. And
That
not
was
to do
why.
well, it was very wide.
Very well.
But
So-
they did anyway.
No, we didn't.
Some people
Cars
went
turned
that
around
way.
and went that way
Yeah.
on their own,
Lots.
but we did not send anybody down River
Yes.
Road.
I get it.
So,
I appreciate it. But they
because
gave
there
it
are a
anyway.
few areas down there that are beginning to break up pretty good.
Pretty
So,
soon,
Yeah.
yeah.
but we were not going to send anybody down there.
Let's not make it worse.
So it's just, it's
gonna be bad
this
enough
time of
as it
year,
is.
it's not good. In the middle of the winter, it's not good. The road gets narrow, it gets,
So then if
Money
313 is
makers.
blocking, that's gonna go down the road, all the way past 5, just turn around
good
and
luck.
turn around and wait.
You
Yeah,
can't.
we're not
You
going
can't
to
get there
send,
from here.
we're
Okay,
not
that's
going
fine.
to send them that way.
Yeah, no, I
If
get it.
they choose to go that way on their own, that's one
Yeah,
thing.
Right.
no.
So
I'm just
I was
trying to-
parked on the side of the road down at my Sugar Woods,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden I'm like, what is all the traffic? And I mean, there were like 15 cars lined up one way, because my truck where I pull off is still out in the road, and just car after car after car coming the other way. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, they're going around the tree, so. But there are a number of other trees in that area that are gonna be down before long, and
I
the
saw
highway
one
does
came
know
down in
about
my
them.
woods. It snapped.
V-Trans knows.
They do know about them, yes. Yes.
So
Just
that-
for reference, that truck one only has 37,000 miles.
It's- I don't think Sunderland's has that, and they haven't been able to use it most of the winter.
Yeah,
Just-
I don't know what we did with that.
Yeah, and we can't even trade it in. Nobody wants them.
We'll trade it for you.
Matt, you wanna go to the other room? I have had so many bus
I know
problems.
you're the school bus guy, so that's.
Yeah. Coming from.
Have there been problems?
And we had a great trip the day you guys came up. I've got 3 of them that won't move and the other one is in Albany. So,
Yeah.
Such a fun
I'll just keep an eye. I think it's good for all of us just to keep an eye out. And if there's a road that PC's starting to get flooded up, just
Yeah.
let Mark know.
I've been watching, but paved roads are
Yeah.
some of the worst I've ever seen.
Yes, sir, yeah.
I just need advice, Matt. I have something that says a Zoom user has entered the waiting room. And I don't know who it is. And I don't want to let in one of those,
It's happened
Yeah, it is, and I know, we were there.
Yeah.
It happened to one
a
of
couple
them.
of times. It's
Yeah,
happened.
that one.
Joining the Zoom.
Abandoned.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would just
Not
leave
good.
it.
Not pleasant, but.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't
was
put their
Glenn,
name
would-
on it, that's.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not one spur trying to I mean, they had names even, but if it had been Glenn, he would have emailed you.
He would have
texted
Oh,
texted
you.
me.
yeah,
already.
showed up with his name.
So
Yeah.
trees down on like 313 stuff, that's Vermont State.
That's state highway,
State
Route
road.
7
Mhm.
and Route.
313.
7A and Route 313 are state.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
The connector that's.
I mean, if it's a
313.
small enough deal, the fire department will take care of it just to keep traffic moving.
right.
That one was
Okay.
massive. They had to bring a loader down
Oh,
from
boy.
East Dorset to move it
Wow.
after they cut it up. So,
Anything else for fire?
I
How's the new reporting system?
So a couple things for fire. I am going to get together probably with Eric so that we can send out letters for the commercial alarm permits because that has worked its way through the waiting period and everything close enough now for us to get started on that. And then insurance recovery, looks like we should be getting,
couple pretty large ones.
we have some large ones, so let me just look at claims. I want to be accurate about this, so.
Oil truck.
Active runs, so current active, oh, I know what we got that payment for. So we've got Natasha, whose insurance denied her negligence on driving on Kelly Stand Road. So she's been billed direct for $760. Irving Oil was billed $8,595. And that has been sent internally, and they indicate that they are paying that direct and not through insurance, but we haven't gotten payment on that yet. But that was just confirmed on on 2/24. So they reached out today or on Friday, excuse me, for an update. But on 2/24, so we'll get it maybe next month because they probably pay 45 days, I would
I
suspect.
know we talked about that and there was a question at town meeting.
Yeah.
And my thought, I didn't voice it at town meeting, but my thought is that program may very well pay for itself.
Oh, it will,
Absolutely.
100%. I mean, we're gonna be able to cover the cost of the hazmat mitigation materials that we
The
use.
electrical.
And then the rest goes into the truck fund.
Yeah.
And then there was another one, for an accident on Route 7, Super 7. And that has been sent to the insurance adjuster and they're working on that. That was was last updated on the 3rd and Geico is reviewing that. And then we got a payment, which will be coming in the amount of $3,328.60. And that was for the car fire where we provided mutual aid to, was it Shaftesbury or North Bennington? Jamie, that Tesla fire.
That was the Tesla fire, so we
Yep.
do need to order a pallet of foam.
Okay, so
And
that's.
that'll probably heat up.
That's fine though, because
Yeah.
that's why we do
That's why
this
we do it.
and we got that. So
So
that
this,
check should
to
be
me, this
coming.
is really promising.
And that really, that 3,328.60 looks like the amount that's coming to us after they take their cut. So it was billed at 4,267.43. But this is a good example of where they did all of the legwork
Right.
and went back and forth with the
We provided
adjusters
the
and
info and
everything.
they did the rest of it.
This is highly worth
Seemed very
the,
efficient.
the cut, because
Yeah.
this is money that we would have just paid out
It would have been
prior
laying
and
around,
never
too.
gotten back.
There's
So-
another kick on-
Yeah.
So is this a tool that we pay for?
So they're contingency based and it's, the fire recovery, platform. It's a service and it integrates with our RMS platform, our run management platform at the fire department.
Okay.
But historically, so we have an ordinance and a policy, which it's an ordinance that we updated around fire billing. We don't bill for residential structure fires in Arlington.
Okay,
But automobile accidents, other types of events where we can bill, and there's a FEMA kind of rate card, plus we have our own rates and we add a 15% billing surcharge for consumables. We'll bill the insurance companies
okay.
to recover that. Plus we can also bill for, like, we didn't have any consumables, but we had time for
We had
Natasha.
eight individuals drive up the Kelly stand in 2 feet of snow and
Oh,
get
boy.
stuck.
Oh,
And then
geez.
needed rescuing.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so we can
So-
charge for that. We can charge for landing zone. If we have to set up a landing zone for medevac, like we can
Yeah.
charge for those. And so from the RMS system, it will feed automatically to this billing platform. And then we've already collected the appropriate information. And then they go out and they create the invoice, they talk to the insurance companies, they do all of that footwork. If it gets denied, they go back. In the case of Kelly Stand, it was negligence, so the Chubb denied it. So now that individual has been billed directly. If that individual doesn't pay in 60 days,
Mhm.
then they will send it to our collections agent Ally to start recovering the cost of that. And they take a cut. Our collection agent does, but it's still
But
money
it's
that
still
we
money,
get back.
yeah.
And it's like, I forget what they are. They're like
So-
18, but if they have to go to court, they take 23, but it's still cheap at 23%
Yeah,
for
sure.
them to go to court.
If you wouldn't get it otherwise.
I mean, like the car fire, the Tesla car fire, we took that bunch of foam because
Mhm.
that's really the only thing you can do.
Yep,
Foam's not cheap.
Yeah.
for sure.
And so, we've got a few 5-gallon containers left, but we really need to order another.
Yeah, so this is a good example. We'll
This
get that
will
check
pay
come
for
in.
that.
Yeah,
we'll buy the
We
foam.
never
We're net
never
zero.
got in the past.
Awesome.
So,
And the reason behind all of that is every town is required to provide fire protection to residents, but not required to respond to rescue car fires. So it's just, it makes sense to do this.
Yeah.
We tried doing it the old fashioned way by hand paper.
Mhm.
Doesn't work.
Years ago when we first started
Years
it.
ago, and the insurance companies basically said, we're not gonna pay anything.
Yeah,
And it was like,
we got,
Yeah.
because the insurance companies are on such a timeline from the time the incident happens till they close their case. A lot of it was the paperwork transfer between the fire
Never
department
got
and getting it over here and then getting it to them in a timely fashion. We missed the deadline.
Yeah. Oh,
And didn't get anything.
the
So,
system.
you used to work for an insurance company.
when we, yeah,
this-
And you know, if you look at the amount of time that they've put in and back and forth in these
Oh, yeah.
claims, it's a considerable amount of work that, like, at the time Mary was doing it, right?
Right.
And she just didn't have
It
the
was a lot of
time.
Oh, yeah.
bypass stuff.
They count on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steve had a.
Question, you
Yeah.
mentioned like the excess funds will be put into the truck fund?
Sinking.
Yes, the sinking fund.
Okay, the sinking fund.
Yeah.
Would those excess funds then you could take out since you put that in?
The way the
As
ordinance
compared
is
to what we,
written- the
as
way the-
voters put in?
The way the ordinance is written is that is added to
Okay,
the fire truck sinking fund, which we can only use for a fire truck.
yeah,
But as a taxpayer, it helps us build that fund up faster.
That wasn't that, I was more concerned about that you put the monies in there and then you take the money out.
No, the only
Which
thing we
is
can do is cover our expendables. Okay, so we can cover those.
So
and
we'll
then
take the
after that-
consumables out first before we put the balance
Oh, yeah.
of the
No,
funds.
no
in.
problem. I was just worried
Yeah.
about
Nope.
And
putting the money in and then,
all-
oh, I need something here, I'll take it, since
No,
I
no.
put that in there, which was
all of our
non-voter
capital-
approved
yeah,
money.
all our capital reserve funds,
Yeah.
maybe as much as 20 years ago, we put an article on to allow not just for the purchase of, but the repair or replacement of whatever it is, fire truck, town trucks, whatever.
Yeah.
So it gives us a little more flexibility, but still keeps it in the,
Yeah, and if
The
there was
realm,
a
yeah.
fire truck got slightly damaged or something from it, the scene, we could
if the
pull
pump had
from
to be
there to
replaced,
repair it
tanks needed
versus.
to be replaced, or
Right.
whatever. You could still use that for that.
So this is free money to try and save the taxpayers a little bit of money in the long run.
Just like we're saving on solar.
At some point.
That's going away.
I have information.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I received a bunch of information on that today.
So good news there. I am gonna get with Eric. I know he was out of town. I know they're back, but he probably had to get his feet underneath them because he was on that trip. So with Boy Scouts. And the next thing for fire department that we really want to do is get those commercial alarm permits. And the other thing that I found in one of Nick's, in an email in Nick's mailbox that got lost is we have to renew our Knox box subscription system. And there's some question too about that because Nick started that and I guess it's a complete mess from what I understand
Yeah,
at the
I have
moment.
some of the paperwork and some of the information, but
So if you can give that to me, I'll sort that
Okay.
out. And then I think what we'll do is put the renewal for the Knox box. Those are the commercial building boxes that allow the fire department to enter. It's a little box you put on the outside of the building. And depending, like the health center has one, and it should have a drop key in it for the elevator and building keys and floor plans and stuff like that.
Mac has them.
Yeah, Orbis has them, everybody has them. So, I want to get that sorted out and that goes hand in hand with the commercial alarm permits as well. Because if there's a commercial property that doesn't have a Knox box, they are required to get one. So we'll get that sorted.
Okay.
Other than the post office.
Anything else for fire related? All right, I'm gonna bump the liquor license to now.
All right.
All we need is a verbal approval. We don't have to sign any of them.
Let's just see the outside consumption. Oh. All right, so what class is this? Or is this just
I
outside?
think it's outside consumption.
Which applies to their current, they have two class licenses there, I think, an A and it's an A and a C.
I think you're
Yeah. So this is a liquor license for outside consumption permit for Arlington Ramontos LLC, which is located at 29 Sugar Shack Lane. I don't think there have been any violations according to this paper. I'm looking down through.
we wouldn't even have it if the state had found violation. The state's really.
It puts it right in here, though. It's right on the paper. Violation. Oh, this is for the people, the named officers on the permit, which none of them have any violations. It doesn't pertain to DLC violations through the liquor inspector.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
motion made by Matt and seconded by Jamie to approve the outside consumption permit for Arlington Ramontos LLC. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All it is done. All right.
Did you guys do the minutes? I don't think you actually voted on
Yeah.
the minutes, right?
No.
Added it, but then you didn't vote on it.
We added it and it got skipped
already
over
had it.
because you went right to highway.
Yes.
So we should circle back
Okay,
and
I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve previous meeting minutes as presented from the 2/23 meeting.
Second.
Motion made by Matt, second by Jamie to approve minutes of the 2/23 meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Matt, do you want to highlight the personnel provisions that you
Sure.
provided everyone?
Personnel policy. So I think tonight it's best. So Cynthia emailed, her
The changes.
changes for the sections 18, 19, 20 of the personnel and 29 of the personnel policy. I kind of summarized those and put them in a little bit different format that are easier to read. And I think what we should do is circulate those to everybody here. And then we can take action on this at a future meeting. And I'll just kind of go down through and highlight, what each section is, just real quick from
Could I
me.
just say that one of the reasons why the board had asked me to have this for this meeting, which I wasn't sure I could do, is because we have the overtime issue hanging out there, the holiday and the overtime. So I don't know if the board will want to take action on that element. To include the hours of paid time off on a holiday in the calculation of overtime, because the board wanted to provide the back pay for the guys. If you want to wait, that's fine, but you guys asked me to have it for this meeting, and that was why.
Appreciate that. So I think, and I'm just gonna go through this real fast. Oh, I'm sorry, Dan.
That's all right. You got
I
interrupted.
got interrupted.
Did you get a copy?
Yeah, what's the difference between, or what's the?
One is the actual personnel policy revisions, and the top copy is just a summary of the
Okay.
changes, and I kind of summarized exactly what we did within the
Got it.
language. Cynthia, to your point, I think we could take action on it next meeting and then vote
Okay.
to cover, a period retroactively if we so desire.
That's fine. It was just it was a hot topic.
Understood.
So, you know.
The revisions are intended to clarify existing practices, simplify language, address recent issues that have arisen, and ensure that these policies are administratively clear and consistent. So under health insurance benefits, we clarified that its FTEs are eligible for town health insurance with the 90-10 premium split, or you may elect to receive $5,500 stipend in lieu of coverage. Establishing the town clerk, treasurer, administrative assistant positions receive the stipend rather than town provided health insurance coverage unless the select board determines otherwise. Providing that eligibility begins upon employment rather than a waiting period, and retaining language confirming the town's authority to change insurance carriers' contribution levels or stipend amounts as needed. These really simplify the selection and remove provisions related to part-time eligibility that do not reflect the town's current practice. Under holiday leave, we added and clarified that paid holiday hours will count towards the calculation of the 40-hour work week for the purposes of overtime eligibility. I would like to call your attention to the provisions regarding observed holidays and holidays occurring during vacation leave, which may be considered somewhat generous. These provisions are left in place for us to review and determine whether any modification is desired. We maintain the existing provision that employees are required to work on holidays are compensated at 2.5 times the regular pay rate. And under vacation leave, basically unchanged, just clarified that accrued vacation time will be paid out upon separation from employment at the employee's current rate of pay. And we changed that from our previous language, which was termination, to separation, because employees are entitled to the accrued hours, whether they retire, resign, or are asked to pursue other opportunities.
Now, is that for vacation time or for comp time?
We'll cover comp time
Okay, you got
in the
got
next
that. Okay.
section. So, so comp time, Confirming that 8 hours of paid holiday leave may count towards the calculation of the 40-hour threshold for overtime, while other forms of leave do not count towards overtime calculations. Clarifying, work performed on holidays is compensated, and this is for both overtime and compensatory time, compensated at 2.5 times the regular hourly rate. We updated the language regarding payout of compensatory time by replacing the word termination with separation, retaining the existing 42-hour cap on accrued compensatory time, and changing the comp time carryover to 12 months to reduce payroll liability. So we currently have 24 months in there, which is way too long from a liability standpoint on the books.
And-
Just in summary, you know,
And just thinking out loud, that also would parallel the fact that one board can't commit another board to
that's correct.
expense.
That's correct.
That's,
It also falls under the liability category.
yes.
So,
So if I understand the policy as written, even without any changes, at this point in time, we do pay out accrued comp time when
yes,
someone leaves.
you have to because
That's
comp
fine, that's
time
fine. That's what I
moves
thought.
into really what
Yep.
I don't like that we don't use the word PTO or paid time off, and we have these other terms, which maybe we want to consider just changing altogether to say that, you know, for you can earn compensatory time, which contributes to this calculation of PTO. And then associates can use PTO in the following manners, but it would change it to get rid of vacation leave, get rid of compensatory time, and really change it to a singular wording that is universally accepted. And that would make it a little bit clearer when it comes to separation, that we could say, we will pay your accrued PTO at separation.
Would that include sick leave then?
You would roll sick leave in as part of PTO.
The idea being you have one pool,
One pool to
one
work
number to
from.
calculate at time of payout.
That's correct.
One
And
pool to draw
then,
down from.
and then you would say non-exempt employees can carry 100 and you would set a policy that they could carry 120 hours of PTO from year to year, let's say, for example. So they can only carry 2 weeks worth of pay on the books for an additional year. If you had, I don't know, let's say you had 190 hours at the end of the year and you didn't use them, it's use it or lose it.
Right.
So you would lose it down to 120 and that's all that you could carry. That would limit our liability in the amount of payroll that we have to carry on the books. And to your point, limit the liability of a different board coming on as well. So maybe something that we want to consider changing. And if that's the sense that I could take a shot at rewriting this and making them a general pool as well.
I would like to see it written out.
Yeah, I would generally, I'm generally in favor of a single pool. So if you want to take a stab at that.
Yeah, I can do
Let's
that.
write it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Distribute it, and then
Yep.
let's try to make a decision at the next meeting.
I think we can do that. And I think it would not change the overall provisions in here and what the employees are getting. It just changes the language and, to your point, makes it one common pool, which is a lot easier to manage.
Well,
For
maybe
us
we
and the
can
employees.
separate it into two things. All of these make sense to me.
Mhm.
I don't have a problem with any of them. So maybe we pass the stuff that you're talking about, the retroactive holidays, so that clears that mess up that we've been carrying. And then at the next meeting, you can do and distribute the single pool language. We can authorize that. Because this is a policy and we can change it at any time. We can amend it at any time. That would be, in my mind, that would be like an amendment.
Seems like
But
waiting 2 weeks for one clean version isn't
probably
very
isn't a
long.
problem. Yeah, probably isn't a problem, but I just thought if they,
And if I could
Yes,
just say
go
this,
ahead,
I
Cynthia.
did have, in my version about the holidays, of course, I put in the thing about the holiday time counting in the calculation of overtime. But I was questioning the practice of, taking a holiday, you know, if it's an actual date holiday like Christmas or July 4th and it comes on a Sunday, then you'd be able to take it on a Monday, or if it comes on a Saturday, you'd be able to take it on a Friday. If you don't work on a Friday, you'd be able to take it on a Thursday. And I just feel as if, I mean, I think I'm just so old fashioned that like, you never used to have anything like that.
You can't
But-
retain employees if
But that's-
Christmas
so
Day
what I'm
falls on
saying-
a Saturday.
If you
and-
could let me finish, what I'm saying is that, I think I'm wrong. I think we should just leave it as it is. Because that is what people expect. And so that's
Yeah.
the way it is.
So I'll
do
take a
your
note
edits,
and I'll
send
edit
them out,
it into
email
a
to
PTO
everybody.
model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll make a decision.
Steve, question. Will you be allowing employees to cash out some of their PTO time?
I will put that
And my
in
own,
because that has to be part of when we switch to a PTO policy, but today I have to look and see what our existing provision is. I think there is an option.
I think it's only comp time.
It's
and
only
vacation
comp time
Vacation time,
currently
not
and vacation.
Sick time or paid time off, or, you know, the regular.
But what we'll do is look into that.
and
What
the
the
only
best
reason
practice.
why I think back in 1999, and I haven't seen anything
Oh, we changed it after that.
because of the private letter ruling.
Oh, no, we had an employee that had a lot of vacation and comp time, and that's why we reduced it to 2 years instead of like infinite, because they've been here for a really long time.
I think it was like in 99 or 2000, the IRS issued a private letter ruling where a municipality had a PTO policy, and in there it said you have to maintain 120 hours or whatever the hour limit were or minimum was, and they could cash in. The IRS turned around and said, oh, if you're allowing that, oh, no. You have to tax them when it's accrued, and then
Yes.
when they take it, you don't tax them. The problem is it was earned at $15 an hour. I taxed you at 15. You took it now when you're getting 18 an hour.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you're talking about a payroll nightmare?
Oh, totally. And I
So
think,
just that's the only reason why I asked.
no, I appreciate that. And I think, when I look at a PTO model and the overall premise of why we provide these benefits, both compensatory time as well as vacation and sick time, and going to a pooled model and just calling it paid time off, is that these are benefits that we really want to encourage our employees to take. So allowing you to carry on a certain amount of PTO from year to year is acceptable. I personally don't feel like, and I've never worked anywhere where they would allow you to buy out your PTO and pay you back for any of that. Because the premise has always been, you need to take some time to recharge and relax. And so we really want you to take these benefits and take the paid vacation time that we're offering you as part of your overall compensation package.
Okay, anything else on the policy?
So we will get, so Matt will give us a
Yep.
clean copy of that
Clean
proposal,
copy,
and we will come back to it at the next meeting and
Yes.
put it on
seal
the agenda.
that.
Okay.
I had one other, I have two other things under, as we kind of talk about personnel. The first is just to circulate for everybody to look at, and that is an updated job posting for town administrator. So read that over and let me know what your comments are on that. Basically, I took the town administrator position job description that we used during our last hiring cycle. And I went through it and just refined this to allow us to attract the strongest candidates through our recruiting agency. And I haven't loaded this so with the VLCT recruiter, but what we'll do at next meeting, if we could come to a final job description, and I will have a formal proposal from VLCT for recruitment, and then we can make a motion on that to begin moving forward with recruitment.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So what's your estimated timeline?
So if we look at making a decision to begin recruitment, so at the meeting on the 23rd, if we make a motion to approve the contract and begin with the recruiter, VLCT recruitment would likely start the first week in April. I would suspect that we would have interviews the first part of May, and the goal falls right in line with how we have budgeted for a June 1st start date. Yep, right around there. Give or take a little bit,
Yeah,
but that's.
A week, either way, is it gonna make a
Yeah.
difference?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I have
Anything else on-
one more personnel item. And that is, and we have talked about this previously, which is the recommendation, and we've talked about it specifically for highway. I'll give that one to you as well, since one isn't here. So I did research and came up with modern timekeeping platform versus the handwritten time cards that we use today. So for timekeeping at the town highway garage, as well as the rec park and all non-exempt employees or hourly employees, online, as well as a clock type system in the highway department itself. It's a touch-free clock. It is designed to prevent buddy punching. And then for users like Willie that works down at the park, he could clock in and out using his mobile device when at the park. It does allow for geofencing. Some of the biggest advantages for moving to a digital timekeeping system versus our handwritten time cards is the accuracy, the accountability, administrative efficiency. We can see who's clocked in, monitor attendance, generate reports from anywhere. Our compliance with FLSA, as well as just secure record keeping if any wage dispute arises. And we've obviously got security and retention around that. We know that time savings on the ROI is going to be 2 to 4 hours a week. It's been well documented for 15 employees. That's what it saves payroll. Cost reduction reduces our rounding errors and minor time theft, which is 10 to 15 minutes per employee per day typically. It will significantly reduce labor costs. It can alert us of approaching overtime thresholds and kind of help us with labor management. And our overall financial impact for 15-person non-exempt payroll, this will result in typically thousands of dollars saved annually through reduced labor costs, increased payroll accuracy, and improved compliance. Cost is very low. We've got $770 for the clock for the town highway garage. And then the SaaS services run $684 per annum. Would be my recommendation that we move forward with the timekeeping platform. This would give Christian very easy reports. People like Mark that have 2 different labor rates for what they are doing can just select their labor rate and clock in for that particular function. That would also apply to Willie, who could clock into the department from his mobile device while plowing at the school. Gives us a very accurate and timely report of hours used, which we don't have today. We've got to go back through time cards, and we're using a really archaic system to maintain employee time. And we know, in what, 1894, Edward G. Watkins patented the first modern time clock. And it's now 2026, and the town of Arlington still does not have a time clock.
I will say Mac Molding uses something very similar to this.
They do,
It's very.
They're on the Ceridian platform, but it's very similar. And we use this we don't use, Latham has been around for a little over 100 years. They are a very reputable and very good company. They are payroll provider agnostic. So should we decide ever to outsource payroll to like an ADP, Paycor, Paychex, Paydata, it will seamlessly integrate with those outsourced payroll providers. I know the way Christian does it now, this will give her, though, a very clear and easy hour report to just plug into Nemrick, and we won't have to do any additional integrations.
What is the lifespan of the clock itself?
It's about 5 to 6 years. Typically, I mean, there'll be some sort of new technology by then. Yes, yes.
So question here, like Mark often comes up through and he just, in his personal vehicle, goes and is checking roads on the way up through. Like this morning, he sent Shane immediately out through with the pickup. But he went and checked his whole south end.
Yep.
How does,
So we can set it up so that he can web clock from the app on his phone, and we'll get a geofence to ensure that he's within Arlington boundaries to clock in if we so desire to do it that way. And then he can also clock at the garage and change departments if he's doing mechanics work. If you clock in on one device, you can clock out on another device. It's smart like that. It's all web connected. So, yeah, that's not a problem at all.
With their smartphones, so.
That's correct. 'Cause
Much
it
more flexible.
gives us a geofence area so that we know that you clocked in. But let's say, for instance, we had an employee that, let's say, for instance, Janet worked in New York State, but and she clocks in for this meeting, right? So we could set up a geofence for that, or maybe Janet, because she can work remotely from anywhere, we can just allow just her to clock in from anywhere, would be how that would work. So
I assume a system like this has ability to make manual corrections.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, all payroll systems do. And if there was a problem, oh, I forgot to clock in, you let your supervisor know, and then Christian can go in and make the adjustments after she's validated that that's fine, just like any payroll. And the employees can log in and look at their hours and everything. We can actually use this to manage our PTO if we decide to go to a PTO policy, which will make it even easier.
They can look and see what they got.
They can look and see what they have.
On a day-to-day basis.
We know what the accrual is for each associate, and this will do it automatically for us. So it will all kind of play in together down the road.
Could it facilitate if we stayed with sort of a multi-pool system like as written? Would it be able to
Yes,
facilitate
because
that?
we're using we have to have the enterprise version.
Okay.
So yes,
Probably has
they
more
do.
options.
I did look at that, and I didn't see any rule that we were using today that it wouldn't support.
Okay.
So I would seek a motion to approve the CapEx for a time clock at the highway garage for the amount of $770 and annual service fee of $684 per annum to Latham Time Systems for timekeeping platform. And that includes up to 25 employees. I only know that because of the
How many employees do we have currently?
15. I think we have 15 non-exempt. There's 14 or 15 when I counted.
So the time clock will only be at the town garage. Everybody
Correct.
else will be remotely.
Everybody else can either web clock or clock on an app on their phone, and we can set the highway employees up with app on their phone as well. But I think it's good to have a physical clock in the garage, because that is the one place where we have employees. It's one kind of rough environment. And we have employees that may change departments during the day. So having a touch clock on the wall makes that very easy and frictionless.
So the administrative employees would have something on their computer.
They just go to a web URL and clock in and out.
On a web page or on their mobile.
That's correct.
So the only question I have, I like the idea. Almost as much as I like the idea of going from an 84 phone centric system to current technologies.
Yeah.
It just, I like that idea. My one question is training for employees.
So Latham
Is it
will
pretty-
install it, they'll train it. I probably have like 4 hours in onboarding our rules into the system. I'm happy to do that. Trust me, our rules and 15 employees are super simple compared to what I normally manage. So that would be very straightforward. We could get up and running within 20 days, and they will physically install the clock, and then they provide training, both training videos as well as a seminar, and they do send somebody out. I can train too.
I think that would be.
Yeah, I imagine it's very similar to applications I've used. They're pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at
The end user training for these things is usually incredibly simple.
Yeah.
Here's where you log in,
They're very simple.
click this button to clock in, click this button to clock
Yeah.
out.
But
I can-
as with all technology, those that are old fashioned
So-
or a little resistant
To
might need a little handhold.
So to
That's all
that
I'm
point,
saying.
my question, just to throw out another angle, is I don't know the employees here very well yet. Any consideration into just a perception of lack of trust from the board on behalf of the employees in terms of if we're adding things like facial recognition, geofencing, we're talking about cutting out time theft and things like that, right? There's a human, like, emotional cost to these things as well, and I just
Totally
wonder if that's
appreciate that.
considered.
I don't think, we don't have any evidence that any of that is happening, but as best practice, and I think as we have continued, in my opinion, to modernize operations, that is totally understandable. I get where you're coming from, and there will probably be some pushback
Oh,
at
sure.
some point. But this is also going to save us in labor, which ultimately saves the taxpayers money, just from a labor perspective.
I think that angle, the fact that you said you don't currently have any of this thing.
Yeah.
Makes it all the better to do it before you have evidence, so people don't get
Yeah,
targeted.
exactly.
Yep, absolutely.
And can I just ask, just to understand it, because, right now, the employees submit the timesheets and Janet processes them.
Yep.
And then, Janet makes
So
out the
there's plenty
checks,
of,
but then Christian is involved in it as well. And I'm just curious about, this is like a keeping track of things system. It's an in and out system, so it replaces the timesheet and it makes it easier for Christian and Janet to track the comp time or the whatever, all those things.
That's true. Save them a lot
Right,
of
I know.
time, because you're just going
It's
to
really
report.
but both of them are doing payroll
Yes.
jointly, and that will continue, and they will both be using this system. Okay,
Yeah, they'll be using it on the admin side.
okay.
The one I can't get to. I was gonna show you what a web clock looked like, but for some reason I can't.
Matt, would the clock maintain punches if the system had gone down?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh,
fine.
Yep. Yeah,
So
so
backup, backup.
typical
Battery.
web clock looks like where you start your shift, you can start your meal, kind of, this is set up for manufacturing, but it would just look like that. And then you just click, like, if I wanted to start my shift, I just click here and then I can put my
usually a code or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to vouch in on there. I'm not from that particular site, but, yeah, so and if it was accepted, it would say accepted and.
And then if there are mistakes or you can't get into the system. or you
Well,
forget
Janet
your
would
codes.
run a report for payroll, and so she could see if somebody missed clocking in
Right,
or anything like that, and then reach out to them, or if an adjustment needs to be made, I call up and say, hey, Janet, I'm horrible. I forgot to clock in today. So I clocked in when I remembered it's noon, but I started at 6:30 this morning. Okay, you take a note, like she can go into the system
And fix
immediately
it,
and just
and fix it.
adjust it. And it's a normal process.
Yeah.
The very first day I went over to Mac, I didn't have my card.
Yep.
They
Yeah.
issued me my card, so I couldn't clog in, I couldn't clock out. They just did.
They fix it on the back.
No, and this is like what they use at the bank.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
No, I'm just worried. I mean, Willie is out all the time and
Yeah.
doesn't have a set time and just remembering to go in. And the highway guys too. A lot of their days are just spent in the truck. And
Yep.
to stop at the store and grab their break or whatever, or
Well,
lunch.
we don't make them clock out for breaks today.
Or lunch,
So,
but they will grab their lunch and they're still driving and eating or whatever.
well,
I just-
and that's a problem though,
So, I
because they have to take a lunch break.
Right. And I
They're
know they
required to
stop
take
and
a lunch
whatnot,
So one of the upsides of a system like this is for exactly environments like that where work and lunch bleed together and we want them to take a lunch break.
I get
And
that,
so-
but I know, like some of these storms, they were out for 20 hours at a time.
Yeah,
And just clocking in and clocking out, it's,
It's
I
not
wonder
that
if
much.
it would-
to
I mean,
remember.
but
Right.
also,
Would it make sense to wait until after we're done with the winter and start it up in April or something?
Well, by the time we get it and implement it.
It'll be then
It'll
anyway,
take long to
yeah,
get it.
okay.
in the situation of storms, I think that's the kind of thing that in my mind, if I was a supervisor, I would consider that special circumstance and I would just expect, oh, there's a storm. I'm probably gonna have to do some time card cleanup when I reconcile with my guys, so that they can focus on the urgent stuff they need to do and not have to worry about it. So that's why I asked about, making sure that there's a manual
Yep.
override system because it allows for, today's gonna be a messy day. Hey, guys, don't worry about your punches. We'll sort it out at the end,
Yeah.
special circumstances, right?
And those are the exceptions, not the. rules.
Exactly.
That's correct.
In the meantime, on a
Yeah.
regular day, I think that it tends to have the effect of encouraging people to actually sit and eat their lunch and take a break because I'm not getting paid for this right now,
And most importantly, in their particular job, in their job functions, it is incredibly important that they take a break, take that 30-minute lunch break and not drive, not operate machinery, have their lunch, have a little bit of downtime from a safety perspective. Because we know that skipping lunch or working through lunch when you're running heavy machinery, you start to get fatigued and that's when accidents happen. So this also promotes safety.
Yeah.
Ultimately limiting liability.
Anything else on the policies? Personnel.
I made a motion to, is that seconded or did it
I would
fail?
second that motion.
Motion made by Matt and seconded by Sebastian to approve
It's
the
Lakeland
time
time
clock,
system,
Lakeland time clock system.
770 CapEx and 684 OpEx. CapEx will come out of technology sinking fund.
Yeah.
OpEx is out of our software line item.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Any opposed? Okay.
I'll work with Lakeland.
Deputy Health Officer report. I think you have something.
Yes, so, as you may or may not know, I have been appointed deputy health officer and Dan and I are gonna get together so he can help me with my training. But I just want the board to know that there have been 2 instances when I've learned of problems at the Dollar General store. And, last week it was problems with the septic system backing up and, management requiring them to open anyway, which is not safe for anybody. And, I went over there today and they did not have I was not able, I didn't have time to go in, but they did not have the same sign out. So I think that, everything is back to normal. I left a message for someone and I believe it's back to normal. But I think that we got the DEC involved and just tried to get management to really pay attention and provide what the customers and the employees need. But I just wanted the board to be aware of the situation and that Dan helped with it. I worked on it. And, so I'm learning more about how to do it. And I was also in touch with, DEC, and I even got in touch with that BOSHA guy just to see if he had any guidance. And the main thing is to just help the company get it taken care of, not get anybody in trouble or anything like that. But I just wanted to report to the board about that. And let them know that I have been appointed as that and that Dan and I are gonna work on my
I
training.
spoke with two different people in two different departments.
I know you did.
and Basically, that was the.
Yeah.
The gist of the.
Yeah.
Dan and I talked about it and I did some research and it's not the only Dollar General that has problems and not in this state. But to your point, the other state that I had information from regarding Dollar General, we think they have more statutory, the health or code compliance officer has statutorily more authority than what we do here
Unfortunately,
in Vermont.
We're a little low.
Mostly what I was getting from the state officials was, yeah, but there's not really anything we can
Yeah.
do about it. They can, if they want to play hardball and they just want to go off on their own, they can.
And that's unfortunate and these companies know that.
Yes, they do.
So, you know, the squeaky wheel usually gets the oil once in a while, gets replaced, but
And
that's the best
In
we can
Vermont,
do.
the town health officers and assistant town health officers rely heavily on voluntary compliance.
Mhm.
But I
Just
think,
the
I
way the
think,
language is.
I think that many community members in Arlington use that store and appreciate that
Yes.
store.
Yep.
Because you can get things that you have to go to Bennington to get,
Yeah.
and so we want that company to live up to their responsibilities because we value that store.
And it serves as, I mean, because it really services Manchester,
Sure,
right?
Sure.
Shaftesbury,
Shaftesbury.
all of that, Sunderland, Sandy, yeah, yeah.
All right, so that's covered, I believe. Town administrator report. You're on, Cynthia.
Okay, and the first thing I need to tell you is that our next select board meeting is Monday, March 23rd
2
at
weeks from
7
today.
o'clock. But we will have a Board of Civil Authority meeting at 6:30.
Okay.
Now, Sebastian, the Board of Civil Authority is
You're also a member of that.
the body that makes decisions about changing valuations on the grand list.
Okay.
In this case, there are 3 properties where the listers made errors or they got false information or something, but they made errors in the valuation. So it should be pretty quick because they're saying, we made an error here, please correct it. So the board will just correct the error. In some cases, you actually go out and inspect places and there's discussions and arguments back. In this case, it's apparently very straightforward. So we're allowing half an hour for it. And the town clerk, Susan Poston, is in charge of this and she will bring the statute that tells us what we can do. And the justices of the peace who also participate in elections, they're also part of the Board of Civil Authority. So, but it's very important that we have a quorum. So if you can just note down to try to come at 6:30 instead of 7, that would be very good. And Susan will send out a reminder.
And just so you know, the Board of Civil Authority, it's the 7 justices, the 5 of us, the town clerk, and it covers elections. We purge the voter rolls, we hear tax appeals, we do a bunch of different things that the select board does not do.
Yeah.
But by virtue of being on the select board, we also fire commissioner, water commissioner, BCA member. So
Cool.
you get all in one package.
Wait,
Yeah, I gotta update my signature.
Yes, your resume, yeah.
Select them as what-
Yeah. Okay, and then, so there's that. Then, in terms of the 7A sidewalk, Nick reports that we've made contact with someone that we need to hire who's gonna be like the engineer inspector. I don't think that's quite the right word, but it's not a clerk of the works exactly, but it's an engineer who's responsible. He's like an independent engineer who's responsible for making sure all of the work is being done according to the scope of work, according to the standards, so that we don't have any mistakes. And Dan and Nick and I met and chose a company, and Nick's been in touch with that company, and so that we should be able to have them on board. And then the plan is to go out to bid about April 1st on the whole project. Nick's gonna bid it as a 2-year project in case there's any kind of a problem with weather or whatever. And he's got, he's our liaison on this project at BCRC, so he's handling all of that, thank goodness. But I just wanted the board to know where we are about that. And he and I thought that the independent engineer could use the highway department office as a sort of a base of operations, because he'll be here continually
Oh, for
during the project. And, the highway guys don't use that except for their training every once in a while. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that office there, yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah.
Will Nick act as the clerk of the works then for the project?
I don't know the answer to that. I'll have to ask.
Okay.
Just, he
Steve
emailed me
volunteered.
the other, yeah, all those in
You wanna
favor
be
of
the clerk of the
saying aye,
works?
yeah.
I've done it before for the school.
Right.
We want to be inclusive.
Anyway, just so that you know, Nick emailed me Thursday or Friday last week. He's coming into my office Wednesday about budgets. So I don't know if that has to do with this or anything else, but I'll just.
No,
So, but I'll find out about the clerk of the works, because we didn't discuss that.
And maybe the consultant engineer can also act as that.
Yeah, I
think,
don't
because we
know.
did that once at the school too. The architect acted as the clerk of the
Yes.
works as well, so. We should just check on it, because I
Yeah,
think that's an
yeah.
important function
Yeah.
from municipal dollars that shouldn't be overlooked.
Yeah.
And Steve raised his hand, so maybe we can just volunteer him.
Make it like 9 to 1, and then, I can just,
you feel you're.
I'll leave work.
arming for-
The state won't mind.
No, not at all. Okay.
Okay, so there's that. Then the other question is the, question about the solar credits. So I do have, the material from,
Hand out to them first.
okay, from, the letterers. It turns out that we are saving, about $500 a year on these credits. So it's not, not all doing this.
No.
So not a huge amount of money, but we're not losing money. And I think that at the time that we put this in place, it was seen as very important to encourage solar energy, which is still true. And so I leave it to the board to decide. We're not saving a large amount of money. And we would be paying the same amount to GMP if we weren't paying it to the provider of the solar energy. So I leave it to the board.
Janet, how many hours of work is it per month to do all of the back end accounting for the solar credit?
On my end, it's very minimal. When I get the bills in from GMP, I just scan it to Rich, and then he sends me his bill. So it was very minimal. I mean, 15 minutes.
No,
For
Nick
each
did
one.
have a spreadsheet where he had reported a whole lot of other stuff
Yes.
when he reported summaries to the board before. I haven't been keeping that up to date. I mean, I'm not up to date on anything else, so this is not my highest priority to stay up to date on, so.
So we figured we could average that it's an hour's worth of time monthly, and let's take 2 by 40 times. So we probably spend, that isn't fully loaded. We probably spend 500 in change in time annually.
So you're saying it's a wash.
So it's just a complete wash. Because if Nick spent an hour a month, that would have been $480 in payroll time. But that's not fully loaded, so actually. Probably would have been closer to $800 fully loaded.
Rich did give me a bunch more paperwork today. It's down in my truck. I can go get it. It has a lot more info about all of this. I forgot to bring it up. I can go get that if you want me to. Part of the discussion.
I mean, this month we saved $43.95. It seems negligible. It just doesn't seem.
The question in my mind is the savings worth the trouble with administrator? And
I think we
If you
spent
wanna-
more fully loaded.
I'll go get it, or we can table this to the next meeting. With you discuss.
Right, either salary, but
Right,
then on
right.
top of that.
Yeah, we start adding salary and benefit to that.
Right, well, you have to add the benefits in to
It's
come
gonna
up with
be
it, but I'm just doing a rough
40%.
estimate. I think I'm low on the fully loaded
Probably
number, to be honest.
40% plus.
Yeah. I forget what's the rule, fully loaded now with benefits, isn't that 36% on top of payroll or
Don't
something?
ask the state. It's
Well,
not-
no,
it's
yeah.
Pretty close to 67.
Seven, oh my
70%,
God.
because of the defined benefit plan.
I got the senior meetings in my calendar.
Sort of the question at hand, what like decommissioning.
Do we keep doing this or do we
Keep
not?
doing
do it?
decommission.
I mean,
The wash or.
I mean,
it's
the
not in our
panels
favor.
are still there regardless. Of what
Yeah.
was that, right? It's
Yeah.
just-
Yeah, we're just not taking the credit
Yeah.
from it and we're just paying the electric bill. I mean, they're still there, they're still producing solar power and going back to the grid,
Let's see what
Yeah.
David's got.
right? It's not,
Got more billing information and stuff in those. So one thing he wanted to point out was that the street lights account, no, it was the flashing lights at the school, have an $8,000 credit that this is building on.
Well, that would be worth. That would change the picture entirely.
well, but the school, that's on the schools.
No, that goes to the town. That's paid through the town because it's all connected to the street lights of some sort, somehow.
Well, that's nice that there's a credit running there, but nobody's gonna cut us a check for that, the way this
Right.
is structured. So that's just money that, great, it made power and we got a credit, but that's nice. It's not, I mean, the flashing light, I mean, the delivery fee's gonna cost us $100 a month, but other than that,
He just wanted me to pass that stuff on. Right.
I mean, by this, I mean, it's a really good point, and Sebastian, I think you made a good point. The panels are still there. The panels are still making power. It's
Right.
still going back to the grid. It's just, we're not getting the credit for it, which appears by all of this accounting, when we factor in administrative overhead, is basically a wash and probably not really worth our time.
How much, may I ask, how much time are you estimating that someone spends
An hour a month.
an hour a month?
So if we took, Nick was spending an hour a month on this to generate reports and the back end accounting, plus Janet's time, so you average that out. And I mean, on the low end, it's 480, but that's not fully loaded, factoring in stipend or health insurance benefits.
Well, Nick had created like an Excel spreadsheet.
Yep.
And I believe he was just updating that, or maybe we did it all at once. And I haven't even tried to update that.
No, but I remember talking to Nick and he said it was about an hour a month. I think last time we talked to him before he
Okay,
left, that
okay,
he was
good.
spending on that.
I guess I don't fully understand what what we get for Nick doing that work.
So we're getting a reduction in our electric bill
Sure.
to some degree. And
But,
that's
but even if
what it
we
is.
don't do that work, the panels are still working and
Yes.
feeding into the grid. It's just that we don't get paid
We
for that.
won't get, right.
So
Yeah.
it's fundamentally, it's purely just a question of, it's like the cost of chasing after a collections account. Is it worth the
Yes.
is it worth the expenditure?
Pretty
Are we spending enough to get it back? Because my first inclination is like solar, like I'm pro solar. Like I wanted, if we have it, let's use it, even if it costs us a little bit more, if the question was turning them off and not using them, right?
But these
But
aren't,
if that's not
These
the,
aren't being
these
turned
aren't
off.
even on our, these are virtual.
right.
It's like buying energy.
Oh,
Energy credits.
And the size of
And
the
Ron.
energy credit is gonna
Yeah.
go down. I mean, like
Right,
the
right.
five
Well, it
hundred dollars.
started out, we were making.
Yeah.
all I'm
I mean,
saying is,
we're
I
doing-
would hate to see solar panels lie fallow, right?
Agreed.
If that's not at stake, if it's just, is it worth us doing the calculation to tell somebody how much they owe us? Sounds like it's not worth it.
That's the question, yes.
So I keep track of the energy usage for the town for the Arlington Energy Committee. And those solar panels show up on that sheet so that the public can see that we are trying to be green. So I'll just throw that.
Well, we're still being green because the solar panels exist and the power is going back to the grid. We're just not taking the credit. That would be like me buying a carbon
That's
credit.
a very frustrating position to be in, then, considering that there is a
Well, when it started out, we
stated
were-
goal of making the town carbon neutral by X date.
Right.
Put in a
We
nuclear
started out,
reactor.
so this has
Sure.
been diminishing over time.
And
yeah.
what do we do with the waste?
So at what point do we cross over to where it's no longer
Except for
worth
the
it, it's
waste.
costing us?
Right, I know, it's just
That's-
annoying that we don't get to
I know.
continue to claim the credit.
I'll put one in on my
Like-
property and store it.
From purely energy balancing standpoint, we're doing it, we're doing the
Yes,
thing, right? It's annoying to not get credit for it.
So all
Yeah,
all
and the
I'm
credits
saying
are
is that
drying up.
If it's not on the spreadsheet, the public isn't gonna see that we're doing it. That hour a month, if it's a wash, why not just continue doing it and we can cover it?
We can revisit this a year from now.
Yeah.
And at some point, it may be costing us more.
I got that.
Right now, it's.
Well,
Why is it costing more?
because the
Doesn't make
credits
any
are
sense.
going away, so it may actually end up costing us, because the federal credits are
But
going
I'm
away
saying
on
if
that.
federal
No,
credits go
green
away,
belt Credits are not going away.
then I'm just saying maybe we should leave it a year, see where the law of diminishing returns takes it. It
I'm not
might
in favor
go the
of
other way.
continuing the program, but that's just me.
If it's a wash or close to a wash, I'd be in favor of continuing the program.
But you're increasing the fees to solar by $3,500 in the budget for this year. On page 20 of the annual report.
But that was.
And that was based on
We,
federal credit.
I worked through two solar projects at the school, one at the high school and one at the elementary. We ended up with a 12% reduction in our electric bill. That was what we got out of it. These two arrays, one is on Old Depot Road, one is on Maple Hill. I know where both of them are. People running them want to give to the community and they want to give to the town.
I get that.
That's why they did the whole thing and put the whole thing through. I believe it costs them, time-wise, it takes them a lot more time than it does us personally. But, if it's a wash or we're saving a little bit, you know, I would say continue it for now.
Okay.
It's by my calculation, it's a wash now. If it starts to cost us money, then
If
that
it
is.
costs us money,
completely
then
different
absolutely,
conversation.
Absolutely.
then we
Because
discontinue.
I'm not
We
in
should try to-
favor of spending more money
No,
for that.
I agree.
and I will try to check in with Janet at month by month to track this so that if.
And I think if we could get Rich or Howie or one of
I
them
say
to come in
invite Rich in and he
go
can
over it as
explain it.
well
Yeah.
and talk about it.
Yeah, I appreciate more,
Yep.
more clarified
Just to
details.
give you information, in 24, the fees to solar panel actual from the annual report was 6,964.
Yeah.
For the annual report for 24. The annual report from 25 was 12,530. That's what was the.
So-
But we would be paying that to GMP if we weren't paying.
Yeah,
it
so
to
we
them.
don't pay GMPC. we
Right.
pay-
Yeah, I know, but
But still, yeah.
So if I'm not making money, it does not make coming back, does not make economic sense. I need an ROI. The school's getting an ROI.
Yeah, yeah, we really aren't getting any return on
It's a,
investment.
it's a business.
An overhead that
Yep.
we have to carry.
I remember.
Let's table it, let's, invite Rich in, he'll have all the information that we need
And there's
to
a
make an
30
intelligent decision.
there's a 30-day out clause in the contract?
I haven't seen the contract. Did you pull the contract?
No, I don't have.
How do we not have the contract?
I don't, it may be somewhere, but I do not have it under my hands. I did not look for it,
Okay.
Okay,
but I can.
I thought the one from last year, that there was a 30-day.
I think there was, it was 30 or 60.
Yeah, one
Yeah,
of those two.
but I'd like to read the verbiage in the
Yeah,
contract.
Sure,
no,
that's-
I made a note.
Okay.
And I will see Rich on Wednesday driving bus for me, so I can ask him to come to our next
Do you want to
meeting.
agenda that to the
Yep,
next meeting?
I did.
See if you-
I did.
Good.
And then
I
just the
think
last,
that's the wise thing to do.
and just the last thing I just wanted to mention, because I think we talked about this before the meeting started, and I just wanted on record that, members of the board are working on an RFP for the website revisions.
Yes.
And so we will actually go out to bid on that.
Yes.
Because I did
Oh, yeah.
have some back and forth and inquiries about that, and, so I just wanted on the record that that's where we are with that.
Yeah, and I started the RFP with Karen,
We
so.
got other things going on. You
Yeah,
got
no,
other
but I
things going
think, with Sebastian on board, it'll be a huge help, so I'll pull my RFP and circulate that with you, and we
Yeah.
can collaborate on that.
And you said you did set him up with email,
He's got his email, he's just
Yeah,
gotta
I
log in
haven't
and
set it
stuff,
up yet.
but
and you're all sworn in, everything's good.
Yeah, you guys move fast.
it's right, slow for
Been
me,
less than a week.
it's slow for me. I can go faster.
Okay. Anything else, Cynthia, on the town administrator report?
Nope, just we do need the executive session
Yes.
after the warrants.
Okay, let's do the warrants and then we'll do the executive session.
All right, warrants, we are gonna start with Water
Thank you
Department.
for coming in.
Thank you.
Water Department check warrant WD 5. I will seek a motion to approve in the amount of $624.30.
Is there a second?
Second. Pick the smallest phone I've ever heard.
I know, I'm not even gonna.
It's really small, but a motion made by Matt and seconded by Jamie to approve check warrant report WD number 5 in a total amount of $624.30. All those in favor signify by saying
Hi.
Aye.
You need me to sign this now? Is it-
Yep,
is
so
there-
we'll sign that
Pass this around
one.
for that.
I was just looking here. Okay, that is in there. All right. Okay, and that brings us to the town warrant. And I'll seek a motion to approve check warrant report number 5. Make a motion to approve in the amount of $31,399.76. Notes on there, energy grant work. Looks like some maintenance of the 2016 International. We got salt. Our ballots for the election. Fuel oil, diesel fuel. Sand. Technical video for town meeting. And then we've got unemployment insurance and stormwater permit. And our town of White Creek filing bill was included in this.
Matt, is there a second?
Second.
Matt made the motion to approve check warrant report number 5. Jamie seconded it, and a total amount of $31,399.76. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I have one other thing. Yes, Sean,
You go first.
we forgot during the reorganization, I should have wrote it down, we need to authorize the board to sign payroll in off weeks. So we pay weekly payroll, but we meet every 2 weeks. So we authorize payroll signatures.
We pay weekly?
No, we pay
No,
every 2 weeks,
bi-weekly.
but it doesn't line up.
It
with
doesn't
the
line up with the
board
meetings
meeting.
all the time, so.
Sorry, my mind just.
You're right, you're right.
Off
We used to pay
Off
weekly.
weeks.
Now we pay bi-weekly.
Expensive solution for payroll.
But they don't line up with our meetings.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Dates don't line up with meetings. So we do the orders when we meet. But there's always going to be a payroll that's off. So we just authorize the board to sign those outside of the gathering.
Gotcha.
So I will entertain a motion to sign orders outside for payroll outside the meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Matt and seconded by Jamie to authorize the board to sign payrolls in off-meeting situations. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Now we can establish the reason for
No.
the check.
I got
He had one more
two
thing.
things. The first one's the easy one. Was the AV right on budget that you?
Yes.
Okay, good. The second one now for you and Sebastian, since you're part of the admin, probably in the next, maybe not the next meeting, but the one after that, can you contact the treasurer to find out why there was the difference between the closing balance of 24 to the opening balance of 25 and the capital reserve funds? There's $77,000 variance. So the balance on, for example, on the ARPA fund, at the end of December 31st, 2024, the balance is 467,181. The opening balance on the 25 report, which should have been the 12/31/24, was $377,300 some odd dollars. There's a difference. Why is there a difference? And then also to make sure my presumption on page 14 about cash on hand, because in the 302,000, there's ARPA funds of 308, which means technically cash was overdrawn if I had kept my segregation of the ARPA funds in a completely different account. Those are the two, and I know at the town meeting, the treasurer wasn't there. I think that the person should be there. And coming back to being on the admin, hopefully the person shares the how the audit is going or not going. I know I share with my CEO and my finance committee chair during audit season how things are going. Just an observation.
Yes.
We'll get
So
those
I
answers for
I
you.
did make a note of your questions
Yeah.
in the meeting, and I haven't had a chance
No.
to sit down with the treasurer, but I do know, and this is not necessarily about these particular instances, because I have not gone over these with her, but I do know when I've talked about this kind of discrepancy across the years from her, she said that one thing that happens is that she will do the fund accounting at the end of 2025 or the end of 2024, and then the auditors come in and they say, well, actually, we think that this should have been counted in the previous year or in the succeeding year, and they move things around. But she's already finalized the accounts that show up in the book. So from year to year, there are journal entries of differences and changes, adjusting things directed by the auditor. And so I said, when we discussed this at the time, and again, it was not about these things, it was about some similar things. I said, well, then we have to start putting an asterisk saying
Mhm.
there was a journal entry and that's
Mhm.
why this doesn't match up.
Right.
You know, so I
So at
think.
least then it's
Yes,
explainable.
yes,
Yeah.
no, well, and I don't know what's going on with the particular cases,
Yeah.
but I do know that when I asked about things like that, she said that's one thing that happened. We did have the auditors here, in February, so they've already gone over everything in the building and they've got all their stuff. They didn't, nothing particular jumped out at them, so they will probably have a draft by July in the usual way. So that's where we are in there.
And I'm used to, on my funds, and I have not as many here, but if my balance, for June 30, 24, and my opening balance for
July
July
1st.
20,
Yeah,
if it's different, I have a reason right in there.
Right.
Audit entry,
Right.
here's the dollar, here's the readjusted 2024
yeah,
balance
yeah.
to go
I
forward.
mean, it ought to be possible so that you don't have that kind of minor difference.
So,
Yeah,
So
and I agree with you that, I think she's gonna have to come to the consent meeting, so, you know, because it's not satisfactory that we don't have something to say.
unless if whoever the treasurer reports to,
Okay, well, it's with, put the onus on us to answer every question.
you have another year.
And
And
also, I did pursue the question of, posting the packets, but I found out how to do it too late to do it for this meeting.
That's fine.
But I wanted you to know that I did pursue that, because you raised that, and that was a really good point.
And it's like you said, you know, there's things that aren't on your focus.
No, but I think that we want to be transparent to the public, we want people to know more, and I just never thought about it, so.
Your comments are very useful.
Yeah.
We appreciate them.
Yeah.
Here's the solar.
All right, we need to establish the reason for the executive session.
all right, I'll make a motion that a premature discussion of a personnel matter would cause the municipality to suffer substantial disadvantage.
Is there a second? Motion made by Matt and seconded by Jamie to establish the reason for the executive session as a personnel matter. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. And I'll further make a motion to enter into executive session for said personnel matter and to invite town administrator Browning to ring into the room.
Motion made by Matt and seconded by Jamie to enter into executive session for said personnel matter and allow town administrator Brown to remain in the room. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
GNAT, we probably will not make any decisions after the meeting, and we will just adjourn, come into open session and adjourn. So if you would like to close up, you can.
And Janet, the same goes for you, Jeanette and Janet. Janet, I will take whatever minutes are necessary after the executive session.
Okay, thank you.
You don't have to move.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, good night.
Recording stopped.
No.